Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber Security Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. Compliance is not just about what you do, it's about what you can prove. Whether you are preparing for an external audit, responding to a regulator, or simply demonstrating internal accountability, documentation is everything. That's where attestation and internal audits come into play. These two practices are foundational to any mature compliance program. In this episode, we'll look at what attestation really means, how it supports governance and accountability, and why internal audits are a critical component of continuous compliance monitoring. Let's begin with attestation. In a compliance context, attestation refers to the formal declaration that specific tasks, controls, or responsibilities have been fulfilled. This can include confirming that a policy has been reviewed, a system has been patched, training has been completed, or a requirement has been met. Attestations are signed or submitted by individuals in roles of responsibility, such as system owners, managers, or compliance officers. Attestation is a cornerstone of accountability. It forces organizations to slow down and verify that actions were actually taken, not just assumed. In many cases, attestations are required by law or regulation. For example, under the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, executives must attest to the accuracy of financial reporting. Under cybersecurity frameworks like the NIST Cybersecurity Framework or International Organization for Standardization 27.1, system owners may be required to attest to access control reviews or incident response readiness. But attestation is not just a checkbox. When done correctly, it helps create a culture of responsibility. It reinforces that compliance is not just the job of the compliance team, it's something that belongs to every department and every data owner. Let's look at a real-world example. A large university is preparing for its annual certification review. As part of the process, each department head must complete an attestation form confirming that their staff has completed security awareness training, that access to critical systems has been reviewed, and that sensitive data is stored according to policy. These attestations are collected by the compliance team, verified, and included in the audit file. If a department is not ready to sign off, the compliance team works with them to remediate the issue. This attestation process ensures that everyone participates in compliance and that there's a paper trail to prove it. Another example comes from a financial services firm that requires system administrators to attest quarterly that backup procedures are in place, tested, and functioning correctly. The administrators must log into a secure compliance platform, verify the backup status, and digitally sign the attestation. These attestations are then reviewed by internal audit. If an issue arises, such as data loss or a failed restore, the firm can demonstrate that backup controls were regularly verified and that gaps are the result of failure, not neglect. Effective attestation processes require a few key elements. First, clarity. The person signing must understand exactly what they are attesting to. Vague or overly broad statements can lead to confusion or liability. Second, documentation. Every attestation should be stored securely with date, name, system, and scope details. Third, follow-up. If someone refuses or is unable to attest, the organization must respond either by remediating issues or escalating the matter. A good attestation process turns risk into accountability and policy into action. Now let's turn to internal compliance audits. While external audits are typically performed by regulators or third-party firms, internal audits are conducted by the organization itself. Their purpose is to verify that internal policies are being followed and that the organization is prepared to meet external standards. Internal audits are often led by a dedicated audit department, a risk and compliance team, or a cross-functional working group. Internal audits are a key part of any effective governance program because they identify gaps early, before they become compliance failures. By reviewing systems, interviewing staff, analyzing documentation, and testing controls, internal auditors can uncover areas where processes are breaking down or where policies are not being followed. Internal audits often follow a structured cycle. First, the audit scope is defined, such as reviewing access control for high-risk systems or evaluating incident response documentation. Then evidence is gathered. This may include access logs, system configurations, training records, or attestation forms. Next, auditors analyze the data, compare it to policies or regulatory standards, and write up findings. Each finding is assigned a risk level, such as low, medium, or high, and may be accompanied by recommendations for corrective action. Let's walk through a real-world scenario. A healthcare organization performs an internal audit focused on data retention practices. The audit reveals that some departments are retaining personal health information for longer than required, while others are deleting records too early. The auditors document these inconsistencies, classify the risk as moderate, and recommend that the organization update its retention schedule and retrain relevant staff. The audit report is shared with department leaders and tracked through the organization's compliance dashboard. Within 60 days, all departments are brought into alignment. This is a perfect example of internal audit driving continuous improvement and supporting compliance at the operational level. Internal audits also prepare organizations for external review. By conducting mock audits or readiness assessments, organizations can simulate the external audit process, identify weak spots, and fix issues before an outside auditor ever arrives. This saves time, reduces stress, and builds confidence across the organization. Another benefit of internal auditing is that it encourages cross-functional collaboration. Security, legal, operations, and human resources may all contribute to the audit process. That collaboration helps break down silos, improve documentation, and align different teams around shared goals. Some organizations even integrate internal audit results into performance metrics for leadership. For example, an executive's bonus or department budget may be tied in part to the results of annual internal audits. This creates incentives for compliance, reinforces accountability, and ensures that governance is not just delegated to one team. It becomes a shared mission. For internal audits to be effective, a few best practices must be followed. First, objectivity. Even though the audit is internal, it must be impartial. Auditors should not audit systems they manage or policies they created. Second, repeatability. Use consistent processes and templates across audits to ensure fair comparison and track improvement over time. Third, transparency. Share results broadly, especially with leadership, and use them to drive action, not blame. Internal audits should not be about punishment. They should be about visibility and continuous improvement. Many organizations now use automated tools to support the internal audit process. These tools can scan configurations, analyze access logs, monitor patch status, and generate audit reports automatically. This increases accuracy, reduces human error, and allows audit teams to focus on root cause analysis and strategic recommendations. From a Security Plus exam perspective, expect to see questions that describe internal audit activities or attestation processes and ask how they support compliance. You may also be asked to identify how an organization would verify whether a control is being followed or how a data owner would demonstrate accountability. Here's a study tip. If the question involves someone confirming they completed a task or reviewed a policy, that's attestation. If it involves evaluating systems, reviewing documentation, or identifying gaps, it's describing an internal audit. If the question describes the organization preparing for a regulator or conducting a readiness review, that's also internal auditing at work. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.